Victory is in the hands of the Toronto Maple Leafs on Hockey Day in Canada. Wow, what a game! What a game tonight. Leafs going to Winnipeg. They need two crucial points after getting the 1 point against the Vegas Golden Knights. They win the game and they come from behind. Alright? Last time the Leafs played against the Winnipeg Jets, the Leafs had to come from behind 4-1. And it was because of an Austin Matthews hat trick, and of course pulling wool for Dennis Hildeby, which of course was the big turning point for a comeback. Tonight was the same thing, except you didn't pull anyone in. You came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Jets, who was on a 4-game win streak out of nowhere. And the Leafs seemingly got the win against the Jets in overtime. Leafs win it 4-3 in overtime over the Winnipeg Jets, and they end the road trip with a 2-2 record. They got 5 points out of the road trip. 5 out of 8. Would have been 6 out of 8. Could have been more than that if the Leafs didn't get blown out, or if they didn't blow out a 2-goal lead back to back to back in that game against Vegas. But it is what it is. I mean, what a game. All right. That was really good. And yeah, before that game, during the game, when they were down 3-1, I was like thinking, I'm gonna have that same feeling where the Bills lost, the Buffalo Bills lost to the Denver Broncos in the AFC divisional game. I do not want to talk about that game. That game was unbelievably bad because of a stupid interception that was supposed to be called a catch on Cooks, but they didn't call it, and some bloody calls going Denver's way. And I can see the feeling that game sucked, and that was in my stomach. And the Leafs were down 3-1. I wasn't feeling too good, but they got the win. That turned it around. That put a smile on my face. So I'm happy about that. Again, I'm not happy with the Bills losing to the Denver Broncos. I don't feel like the Bills should be going home, but that's just me. And then you're going to have people say, 0 Super Bowls in your franchise. That's what I'm going to be hearing. I hate it. Anyways, let's get back to the game. So the Leafs start in Dennis Hildeby in net and Connor Hellebuyck in net. Okay, here's the thing. I was concerned about Dennis Hildeby because I know he's gonna whiff. He had he let in a total of 6 goals in that game against Utah. I don't think I trusted Craig Berube on that, but he goes in net anyway. He allows in 3 goals. Yeah, not where you want to be, but that's just me. All right, let's get to the game. Because for 3 minutes in the game, all because of my rambling. First period of the game, it was a little bit back and forth. They had their chances. Even when the Leafs killed off a penalty, they had their chance. They were this close to making it a shorthanded goal. They were this close to making it make a shorthanded goal out of it. But they didn't. And they kind of faltered. And same with the Jets. Once again, Winnipeg had their chance on the power play, and they couldn't convert on anything. They couldn't convert anything. I mean, there was a lot of chances to it, especially the one goal where I thought Winnipeg actually scored. The one goal where it was supposed to be 1-0 Winnipeg, where the puck basically went in the net. I don't think it actually went in the net because it hit bar, and Winnipeg fans went ballistic with that goal, but they didn't call it. I mean, wow, that's just luck. But it's 0-0 heading into the game, heading into the first period. Second period rolls around. It didn't look pretty promising because they were down 2-1 in that game in the second period. Okay, Leafs get called on a penalty. They were able to kill off that penalty. They had their chances. They couldn't do jack. And then, of course, you let in Nino Niederreiter, who actually scored to give the Jets a 1-0 lead. And then Kyle Connor scores again. It is 2-0 Winnipeg. And I'm thinking, geez, 2 goals off of Hildeby, 2 goals? Man, that's some serious crap there. But, however, Austin Matthews responds back with a goal to give the Leafs life. And they get back in the game. It's 2-1 Jets. And that's what it was heading into the second period. Now, it looks like Leafs had their chance to tie the game up at 2. But it was Connor Hellebuyck doing what Connor Hellebuyck does, being sensational. I mean, he was the better goaltender. Hildeby wasn't, and that kind of stunk. Then, of course, before the Jets scored, I was actually before that game. Actually, during the game, again, second period rolled around. I was watching the Bills and the Broncos game. You know how that went. Overtime, they admit my heart broke. Yeah, that was complete bullshit. I don't care what happens. It's complete bullcrap. All right, sorry for profanity. Let's get back to the game. And then the third period rolls around. I thought we had a chance. Okay, we tried to clear the puck, but Nino Niedermeyer strikes again. It is 3-1 Jets, and I'm like thinking, well, we're in the poop streak right now. That's not good. But the Leafs get a power play out of it, but they don't do anything with it. They had 0 shots in the power play the first time. 1 shot on the power play. Nothing we could do about it. But the Leafs, however, get some life here. All right, you got a good goal from Oliver Ekman-Larsson to make it a 3-2 game by the Jets. It is a 3-2 Jets lead. Okay, now we're coming back in the game. Now, of course, we're shot away from tying the game up, and they did just that. Because from Oliver Ekman-Larsson, tipped in front by Bobby McMahon, the Leafs tied the game up at 3. So they were down 3-1. They came back from it. Even Leafs had their chances to go and take the lead. I mean, almost this close, trying to snatch the puck from Connor Hellebuck, but there was nothing coming forth. And then another goal, which I thought that was going to be the game winner on Winnipeg. It clearly wasn't, because the puck hit crossbar once again. The crossbar strikes again for the Leafs, for the Jets. The crossbar strikes again. Oh my God. Crossbar. Now you go to overtime, where you got to get the 2 points. All right? The Jets had their chances. It's like they didn't have any opportunities. Leafs had the chances as well. But it was Connor Hellebuck standing in the Leafs' way, so he couldn't allow that. But then, Leafs going on a 2-on-1 breakaway. That sealed the deal, where Austin Matthews feeds a pass to Max Domi, and Max Domi scores. Leafs win the game in overtime, 4-3. Game, set, match. What a victory. What a game. What a come-from-behind game from the Leafs. Because, I mean, they had a couple bad games. First, you go to Utah, where the Leafs got absolutely lit up by the Mammoth, 6-1. And then, of course, you go to Vegas. You play against Mitch Marner and the Golden Knights. And, of course, the Vegas Golden Knights come back from you, and they make the Leafs blow a 5-3 lead, which I didn't feel like it was great, because the Leafs were 5-3, but you had to play hero and you had to make the Leafs blow a 5-3 lead. And people calling me out saying that the Leafs should be ashamed and not the Knights. First off, I'm not the one to be blamed here. I am not the victim in this relationship. What did you do? You had to play hero, make the Leafs blow a 5-3 lead. That's just me. And then finally, the Leafs get the win against the Jets. Against the Jets that have been President Trophy winning. They have been the President Trophy winners last season, and now they're dead last in the division, in the Central Division. Oh, God. I know they got 4 points, but yikes. So I'm going to leave it up to that. So, Leafs didn't need Willie Nylander in overtime anyway. Well, miss him, but, I want him back, but, it is what it is. Anyways, that is it for this Leafs rant. Leafs split the road trip with a 2-2 record. They got 5 out of 8 points. Now they got to keep going from there. The next game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they go back home and they have a mammoth schedule filled with contenders. You get the Minnesota Wild, Monday night primetime. The Detroit Red Wings, which the Leafs need to get against the Red Wings, because I'm tired of losing to Detroit. Like, the Leafs were that close to winning that game. They had an opportunity to win that game. But they had a 2-1 lead, and the Red Wings just took it away. And Dennis Hildeby gave Detroit the life of day by Simon freaking Edvinsson. Dog Dennis Hildeby! Then, of course, Mitch Marner returns to Toronto on Friday, which it was on a Saturday, but you know what? It is what it is. I think I really miss Mitch Marner, because the Leafs let Marner go, trading Mitch Marner to Vegas, where the Knights took Mitch Marner away from the Leafs for a bag of peanuts, which I didn't like, goddammit. And then the Leafs play against the Colorado Avalanche, where, yeah, it actually won in overtime. And then you go against the Sabres, who occupy the wildcard spot. So you got a very important schedule, all right? You got the Wild, who got Quinn Hughes from Vancouver. Then you go and play against the Red Wings. Then Mitch Marner returns on Friday, and you go up against the Golden Knights. Then you play against the Avalanche and the Buffalo Sabres. So Leafs got a lot on their plate, and I'm hoping that the Leafs can get the win against those teams. Either way, it can either go the Leafs' way or it goes against us. Let's hope that the Leafs get the win against Minnesota, so we can go on a win streak and get to a playoff spot where they can at least get either a top 3 or a wild card spot. I'm hoping that's the case. So you know what? Let's go. All right. Let's go, Leafs. Yeah!